Explorations.
Hello, dear students. We are about to start our new episode. Let's begin. In this episode, we are going to talk about 1. An incredible journey. And 2. Grammar. Had, 2. Didn't have, 2.
The Sindbad Voyage.
The amazing stories of Sinbad the Sailor have entertained generations of readers. But were they fact or fiction?
In November 1981, the historian and explorer Tim Severin started a fantastic 7-month journey. He wanted to prove something.
He knew that over 1,000 years ago, Arab merchants sailed from the Arabian Gulf to China. But he believed that the voyage was described in Sinbad's adventures.
To prove this, Tim had to do research. He had to study ancient manuscripts and read academic studies of Arab ships. He had to read about early sails and how the ships were steered. He also had to read many different versions of the Sinbad story.
Tim decided to build a dhow, a ship used 1,000 years ago. He called it the Soha. 30 skilled Omani builders had to copy ancient shipbuilding methods.
Not one nail was used. They had to sew the boat together with 640 kilometers of rope. The men worked 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, for 165 days. With his crew of 25 Omanis and Europeans, he sailed across the Arabian Sea, the Indian Ocean, and the China Seas. They made the 9,600-kilometer voyage from Oman to Canton in China.
They didn't use modern maps. They used a 15th century navigation book by Ibn Majid and navigated by the stars.
Unlike Sindbad, Tim and his crew didn't have to sail across the sea on a whale, and they didn't have to fly through the air on a huge bird.
However, they faced other dangers. They had to avoid large modern ships. They had to swim among sharks while they repaired the rudder.
The winds dropped and they didn't move for a month. They had to drink rainwater and eat fish that they caught from the sea to survive.
Tim wrote a book called The Sindbad Voyage. Like Sindbad, Severin the Sailor had some incredible adventures.
Now, let's check our comprehension by answering these questions. 1. What did Tim Severin want to prove?
He wanted to prove that Sindbad's adventures described the voyage of Arab merchants to China.
2. What did he build?
He built the type of a ship that was used 1,000 years ago.
3. Why was the shipbuilding special?
They used ancient shipbuilding methods. They sewed it together and didn't use any nails.
4. Which seas did they cross?
They crossed the Arabian Sea, the Indian Ocean, and the China Seas.
5. How did they navigate?
They used a 15th century navigation book and the stars.
6. Why was their journey dangerous?
There were large modern ships, sharks, sometimes no wind, and sometimes they didn't have much food or water.
Now, let's leave the Sinbad voyage and go to our grammar journey.
Had to, didn't have to.
We can use had to plus infinitive to express obligation in the past.
Example: I had to wear a school uniform when I was a child.
We can use plus didn't have to plus infinitive to express no obligation in the past.
Example: we didn't have to go to school on Fridays.
Now, let's check our comprehension by answering this question. 1. What did Tim have to do?
He had to do research.
2. What did the shipbuilders have to do?
They had to sew the boat together with rope.
3. What did Tim and his crew have to do?
They had to avoid modern ships. They had to swim among sharks. They had to drink rainwater. And they had to eat fish caught from the sea.
4. What didn't Tim and his crew have to do?
They didn't have to sail on the back of a whale. They didn't have to fly through the air on a bird.
Finally, I wish you got the benefit from our lesson today. Study very hard. See you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.